Hey everybody, this is Mike with Free Roaming Photography, coming at you from the wilds of Grand Teton National Park. And on a little snowshoe hike, I happened upon a couple of moose back there, a mom and a calf, and they're about 50 yards out. Park recommends staying about 25 yards away. A mom and a calf, I feel more comfortable about 50 because moose are one of the few animals that I really do not want to mess with. If they feel threatened, they will try to kill you, and that's not what I'm looking for today. So I'm going to keep my distance, partly because of safety, but also because it is winter and it's been a kind of rough winter. And so I really don't want to stress them out any more than I have to. So keeping about 50 yards away, I'm going to try and find some good shots and see what I can come up with. Now, moose calves, like the one with this cow back there, they will stick around for about a year or two before the moms kick them out to try to mate again. And especially in winter environments like this, their long legs help them get through the snow a little easier. Though it is a lot of snow and they are still having trouble with it regardless. And what they're feeding on right now, they are feeding on a lot of these cottonwood sprouts. So a lot of the younger, these are all cottonwood trees up here. A lot of these younger sprouts and new branches that are coming out, they're feeding on that. And that sustains them a lot through the winter. A lot of cottonwoods, willows, aspens, all the new sprouts from that. If there are too many moose, then a lot of these trees don't get to grow. They don't get to sprout new trees, which is really one of the main reasons we need predators like wolves and bears around to keep the population down to a sustainable level so that the moose and elk and other deer species don't eat down all the young sprouts and essentially starve the beavers and other animals that depend on a lot of these trees. So her calf back there is a young bull. When I look through my lens, which, yes, I'm using this to keep my distance and get shots of them, I could see the spots where his antlers were, and they'll grow back this spring and every year like all deer species do. And so she's decided I'm not much of a threat, so she's walked away a little bit, and that's because I am keeping my distance and not really disturbing them, and this really is about as close as I want to get to them. I don't want to disturb a moose by itself, let alone a mama with a calf. So, and oh, right there is a sage grouse, which I'm going to try and get as well. You can see that sage grouse walking out right back there. And one of the great things about them is they are a keystone species. A lot of predators and birds of prey depend on them as a4food source. But with all the development and oil and gas expansion and a lot of stuff in sagebrush habitat, a lot of their territory has gotten decimated and overrun. And they are kind of on the brink of going on the endangered species list because of that. And if they go away, then that's a major food source and a major link in the food chain for high desert environments around Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Utah, and beyond. So definitely an important animal here. A little bird, well, chicken-sized bird, but still vital to this ecosystem and many more. So I have left the moose in peace. On my way snowshoeing again, the sage grouse flew off. And aside from those, there's not a whole lot of other critters I would expect to find in this particular area. Perhaps an owl, although it still might be a little early for them. And possibly a coyote. Definitely seen a lot of coyote tracks and a few other fox tracks around here. But some of the other animals I would expect to be here, but that I wouldn't necessarily see, would be mountain lions. They certainly pass through here, especially in the winter. But As is the case with wild cats, if they don't want to be seen, they won't be. So not expecting to see that, but they could definitely be in this area. Also, wolves may pass through here, but I haven't seen any sign of them. And with the low populations we have down in Jackson Hole, I wouldn't expect to see any this far south at the moment. Aside from that, the only other thing I would expect to find are maybe a couple of elk. If they're kind of just not migrating as with the others. But aside from that, we'll see. Coming up on a river, so it is possible to see at least some sign of beaver as well. They're definitely back here, so we'll see. So I was saying how moose like to eat all the young aspens and willows and cottonwood sprouts. Here's the evidence to that. You can see here's a young cottonwood tree, and the tips of a lot of the branches are just kind of nibbled off, chopped right off at the top. And that's basically deer species feed on and stuff. Here's a younger one with the tips gnawed off, and more back there. And these are all trees trying to grow, and with a healthy predator-prey relationship and population, some of these trees will get eaten down, but some of them will also have a better chance of growing, which will supply beavers and nesting birds and things like that with the resources they need to live in this ecosystem sustainably. So what I just found back here is a small nest. You can see that. There's not an egg in there, but it's actually a little bit of snow. And so it's not being used right now. So this is probably a nest for something like a magpie. They like to nest in these types of trees. So just another nice little find on a nice little snowshoe hike out in Grand Teton National Park. So I am starting to make my way out. Not sure what, if anything, I'll see on the way. But that's kind of the nice thing about getting out. You never know what you're going to see, and you don't need a national park to do it. Certainly helps, but even if you have a neighborhood or city or county park nearby, you can still find plenty of nature to explore and learn about, and every ecosystem is different. So be sure to get out there and enjoy what you got around you. And then when you do visit something like a national park, you'll be a little bit better prepared to know what it is you're seeing and how that subject relates to its environment around it. So just a quick reminder, I do offer private photography workshops in Grand Teton and Yellowstone. So if you'd like to venture out and explore with me and find some things to take some photos of, find the link in the description. There's more info there, and be sure to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching, and happy trails. I mean, if I were an owl, that's where I'd be hanging out.